I had a blast creating these painted and embellished sticks for storing snippet rolls in a recent video. If you haven't seen it yet, you can find the link below in the description box. In that video, I also mentioned how amazing the fabric snippet roll would look on a journal cover. Well, guess what? Today, we're going to bring that idea to life and make a fun little journal cover together. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. So here's my fabric snippet roll. I love this. So we need obviously a base to add this to. And what I had suggested in that previous video where I made these was to add it to a jeans journal because it just goes so well together, doesn't it? I love this so much. So I want to make a similar cover to this and then add this on top. I want to maybe add some more embellishments and stuff. So let's do that. And if you're interested in this and you haven't seen this before, I have a mini series on how I made this fabric jeans travel journal. We made almost all of the signatures together as well. So check that out if you are interested. Also showed you how to make this fun closure in that video. So I have this jeans jacket, which used to be a girl's jeans jacket, and I found this at a local flea market sometime last year, I believe. And I have been using it for 2 journals so far, and it has come in so handy. Maybe there's some old jeans pieces that you could use from relatives of yours, from grandkids. You don't need a jeans jacket, of course. You can also just use trousers. Doesn't have to be kids' trousers. Could be your own trousers that you don't wear anymore. And we just need a piece that's big enough for a journal cover. So I'm going to kind of take this as a measurement. I might not make it quite as tall. I'm not sure yet. Actually, this works pretty well for the size here because I'm limited here by the seams. So I'll just cut here and tear that. Do I want to leave this on the back side maybe? Is there a point? I mean, why not actually? Let's do that. We can always still cut it off if we don't end up liking it. It's just a little bit shorter than this travel journal, so I think that's perfect. And I also think the width actually is fine. Oh, but before I cut this, let's see. If this goes to here, and that's our cover, and then we put this on top. I'm gonna put it upside down now because it's easier. This would go around. Then the question is, do we like this? Actually, then I don't like it. Okay, so I'll cut that off first. Wait, now I have another idea. What if we make a different kind of closure and we wrap this around like this, cut this off here, and then somehow close it like this. I don't know how. I can't sew buttonholes, so that's not gonna work. Let me ponder that for a moment. So my thoughts are, I would love to be able to just close it like this. And one solution would be to add magnets underneath. I don't know if mine are strong enough. I have these teeny ones, which are very strong actually. But I don't know if they're going to be strong enough to go through that many layers of fabric because I have one layer here in the back. I have a couple here overlapping, so that would go underneath. And then I have this one, but I would actually want to add another fabric here to cover all of this since we will be seeing it. So that means it would have to be strong enough to go through a few layers here. So it is jumping to the right place. I can see that. And there's just the tiniest bit of pull, not a whole lot. So I don't know if that makes sense. The other possibility is just to have some twine or some ribbon around it instead of the magnets. I think I'll give the magnets a try, maybe add 3 here underneath. And if they don't work, I can still tie a ribbon. That makes sense, right? So the first thing I need to do is to cut this the right length. So if I stick with this size, and I pull this over, I will cut it here. Then I want to cover this last part with fabric. Ooh, I just had a thought. If I'm going to add fabric here anyway, I'll just add the magnets here, and that way they just have one layer to go through when I close it. So first I need to glue 3 magnets here. I'll just use my PVA glue. I will link these little magnets for you below from Amazon Germany, which is where I got them, and hopefully that will help you find them on Amazon US, UK, Australia, wherever you need to find them. I will put my page in English. I think they are 4 millimeters. Oh, I shouldn't have put them so close to the inch. Let's change that. Let's try that again. I want to move them in a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Then I'll put a masking tape over them. Okay. Oh, but it's, oh no, it should have gone here. Because of course I wanted to turn this around so that the butterflies, the moths are the right side up. Oh, Barbara. What do? Do we just, yes, let's fix it. Otherwise I will be very sad. Let's undo this again. This is one of those tutorials how not to do it. But I have come to learn over the years that it's always worth the effort of making the change, even if you don't feel like it at the moment and you feel like throwing your project out the window. I can honestly, of course, now they're, yeah, just be together. It's okay. They always want to be together. I don't blame them. It's scary out there alone. We all need support. I'm talking so much nonsense. Okay, let's do this right. So what did we say? We want it like this. And I actually want this frayed. So then we wrap this around. And this here is the piece that needs the magnets. We'll get it right eventually, you know? It's always good when you can laugh at yourself. That did not take long. Okay, so now I want to cover this part here, and I just need to worry about this last part because of course this part will be sewn or glued on. I don't know yet. And I'm using this fabric, which is the same one from which I have the butterflies. And this one is called, surprisingly, Butterflies and Moths. And by the way, in the series where I made this little journal, I mentioned the Tim Holtz fabrics I was using, and I got some things mixed up. I have been corrected by my dear friend Louisa Heinzel in the meantime, so I want to clear that up. Free Spirits is the company that makes all of the Tim Holtz fabrics. And the Eclectic Elements, which you would have here if I would still have the piece. Oh no, I forgot again. I think that's the brand. And then you have the actual name. Oh, we actually see it here. So the name of this is Butterflies and Moths. And this is going to go on the inside here. I will again link my source where I find these beautiful fabrics, which is an online store in Germany. It's also a physical store. I'm very excited because one of my viewers, hallo liebe Martina, falls du zuschaust, made contact with Romy, the owner, and I think she lives close to Cologne, which is where the shop is. and Martina is going to visit the shop there physically. So that is exciting. I wish I could go. I've never been there personally, but I do know that Romy, the owner, is a sweetheart because I have communicated with her on numerous occasions. So we need this width. How do we attach this? I don't really want to sew it because I don't really want to impact the sewing here. It would not be a tragedy because my sewing here is pretty chaotic anyway. I could just glue it down with fabric glue, but then again, I actually would enjoy seeing the sewing here as well. So let's do that. So to keep it in place, I'm going to first just add some glue stick. I just have to be careful not to sew right over these magnets. That would not be good. And of course, I again adhered them very close to the edge here. I should have put them in more. Okay, we will have to make it work. So I just went around it twice with a running stitch. That's the inside, that's the outside. I'm totally fine with it. And if we add this here, like that, we would have this, and then we'd have this. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Now I'm wondering whether I should just add more stitching to the rest so that it looks like I just have more stitching on it rather than just having it on this piece. That will make it even more quirky. So as you can see, I just sewed rectangles which overlap in the middle, and I'm really liking this a lot now. This looks a lot more fun. So let's think about this. What do we have to do next? So if I want to add any kind of embellishments to this fabric snippet roll, I should do it now before I attach it to the jeans cover. But I'm just realizing what I don't like is, you see how this and this are together. I did not see that. Not changing the magnets again. It is what it is now. I just had an idea. Actually, that's very easy to break up. I would just need to add another butterfly or moth on either of the two pieces. Probably better here. I think I'll take this one. So I'll cut out a rectangle. I sewed around it as well, so that doesn't look so foreign here. And I can just glue that down. Oh, I could actually even sew it down. Well, I'll first glue it down, and I don't think I want it straight. That's boring. Let's add it like that. So I'll just take some thinned down glue. Do I want anything else? Maybe here. So I found one thing I want to add, which is this cute charm here that says create. And this is from charms called Typed Tokens. They are Tim Holtz. And I've really been hoarding them because this is all there are. I don't know if these are still available or not. I have been gifted these. And I'm going to sew this on with an embroidery thread, which is very similar in color to the thread I used here. I hope this won't impact the magnets. I think twice is fine. Then I'll just tie it off in the back. So next, let's make the cover. So first I need to cut this part off. And these threads are fun to keep for embellishments. Then I'm going to add a layer of packaging, just like I did with this one. I have this piece, which is super sturdy. You can also just take a paper bag. I'm mostly doing it just to make it a little bit more sturdy and to have the sound. And I'll make this a little bit smaller than my jeans fabric. I have the feeling my jeans fabric is wonky. Yeah, it is not so bad, but you see this here? Let's just cut that a little more straight, which is interesting because I tore it, but it could be that it's stretched. Okay, that's good. So let's adhere this. I'll add the glue to the paper because I think that's easier than spreading it on the jeans material. I will be sewing around this. If you don't sew, just make sure you use enough glue that it won't fall apart. And then for the inside, I'm going to use this fabric again. Since we've used it on some of the outside, I think it will look nice to have it continue on the inside. So I'll just cut a piece pretty much the same size as the jeans material. And again, I'll adhere that to the packaging. I'm not sure how smart it was to leave this edge because this is going to be hard to sew through. Or maybe I'll just sew next to it. That might be easier. It's a little bit difficult to see it on the jeans material. Maybe should have used a different thread color. On the inside, I think it looks really nice. It's a nice contrast. So I went around it 3 times. And now we need to add this here. And we need to add the magnets first. So they need to be added to this side here, but I need to figure out the placement. I think I need to add this one underneath so that I get the width as well. I can, of course, put them here, 2, 3. So this is where they need to go, but how do I make sure they go to the right place and mark it underneath? You know what I mean? Because if I take a marker, I would see it here, which I don't want. Pencil won't show. Oh, I have an idea. I could take an awl and then poke a hole through so that I see where they need to go. Yes, and we won't see the hole here. Oh, sometimes I'm proud of myself. So we do the same as before. We add the glue. So now I need to separate the magnets. 1. I have to make sure that I glue them down the right way around, otherwise they're going to repel. We don't want that. That kind of defeats the purpose. Don't turn them, Barbara. Don't turn them. Let's add our masking tape. Let's test it. Oh no! Why won't it stick? Maybe there's too much material. It doesn't hold. Yeah, I really think they're just not strong enough. So I guess I need to revert back to the ribbon idea. I will still sew this on and leave this flap so that that can wrap around. Maybe it's better because that way it'll be more flexible depending on how fat the journal gets. It has a little bit of wiggle room. I don't actually have a lot of ribbons. I wonder if this would work. I dyed this with Distress Oxides the other day when I cut the backing here from my tablecloth, and I had this strip left over and I thought I might as well just dye it instead of leaving it white so that I have it when I need it. So let's see what this would look like if we wrap this around. I think I would wrap it twice and then tie that. That's actually not bad at all, but it completely covers. Oh, I put this on wrong. It goes like this, of course. It covers this create, and then also the question is, do I sew the ribbon on the snippet roll, just like on the back side, or will that bother me when I open it? Yeah, I think I'd rather leave that removable so that I don't have this long tail in my way. Let's take this off again. I think a seam ripper like this should do the job. Yeah, no one will ever know. And we can, of course, also take off these unnecessary magnets. Do I sew it or do I glue it? Or do I glue it and sew it? Of course, I should have sewn it on before I glued this on. You always need to think these projects through. Okay, so in this case, I'll just glue it and that's totally fine. And this time I won't use the thin down version. This time I will use it directly from the bottle because both layers are thick. So I don't have to worry about it showing through the fabric. And I want to make sure it's really stuck down well. Another thing, of course, to consider is if you already know what you want on the inside of your journal, like what kind of pages, then it makes more sense to first sew in your signatures and then add this on top. Because then, of course, you can hide your stitches in the back. But since I don't know yet what I want to put in here, I can't do that. And of course, I'm too impatient to wait until I have signatures in here. And I probably will regret this later. So I've sewn on the create here on the corner, so that way I can see it even when this is tied. I just added a little book inside so that it has the shape that it will probably have. Here's the back. I think it's really cute. So now I have this little one, I have this little one, and I have this little one, which is of course my little art journal, which has the cover made by my friend Petra, who inspired this fabric snippet roll. I love this size of journal. These just make me really happy. I hope you feel inspired. Have fun. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.